Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Beyond the Summit coverage of the EU Regional Qualifiers. This is going to be day number 1 here, best of ones. Very interesting plays so far here. We're going to go into Fantastic.Five versus Escape, and I'm going to be your caster Annie, aka Android, being joined this time by Zayori. How's it going, man?
Hello, it's good. Walked off the plane into the studio, onto camera, so it's good. It's been nothing but Dota since I got here. I'm looking forward to this. Should be a good matchup.
Absolutely. I mean, so far we already are having a Beastmaster picked up. Somehow that slipped through the first round of bans, opting to ban out the Vengeful Spirit instead against Fantastic.Five. Now, what do you think of that choice?
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of versatility in terms of picks. We saw it a lot in ESL Frankfurt, some like 90, 95 of the heroes in the total pool were picked. So we're in this cool meta now where pretty much every hero to some degree is worthy of a pick, at least in some scenario or another. So I guess not too surprising to see teams afraid of other picks than just the Beastmaster, but I think you're definitely right in the sense that he is still worthy of a first pick, no doubt. Super flexible, put him in the off lane, put him in the jungle, still a lot of things you can do with him. He just opens up so much for your draft with that Hawk Roshan control, possibilities for like BOT style strategies with Tinker, and they are going to go for kind of a global route with a second pick Wisp.
Yeah, that Wisp, we've got so many potential combos with that. We saw a lot of IO Tiny picked up in the opens just because, again, for best of ones, it's all down to performing in those single situations. You don't get another chance to redeem yourself. So what other combinations could we see? I mean, Illidan, he has a very wide hero pool. Could we see something like the CK?
Possibly, actually. That's an interesting suggestion. Something we have not seen too much. CK, to me, is a pretty boom or bust hero. He either gets that early momentum and takes over the game, or he doesn't get any early momentum and just kind of falls off. His recovery can be difficult, but look at this. Escape Gaming doing some homework here. They ban out the Tinker. We talked about potential BOT strategies, and we actually saw Fantastic.Five win a game with Luna on the panel in the opening round, which is incredible to me. They beat Alliance. We were all super cynical about it, but it proved that Luna at least is pickable on this patch, which until that match I didn't really think she was.
Yeah, and not only was she pickable, she actually had a really tough early game where she was bounced back and forth between the off lane and the safe lane. You couldn't really find any safe space for Illidan, but ended up pulling it out, man. They got that Ag synth from the Alchemist. Well, Luna taken out, so Fantastic.Five have to go for another core here. Luna, again, not really a fantastic IO partner, so may not have had to push as much priority there on that ban, but we'll see moving forward.
I mean, they have a lot of options. They could go for one of those more classic pairings, like the obvious Tiny, like Ursa, something like that. But they could go for something just like a Gyrocopter or a Sven. There's pretty much any core can benefit from the Wisp. It could even just be a Wisp Death Prophet. There's a lot of different ways to play the hero. You can play that relocation style, the sort of classic Wisp that I think most of us think of when you see the hero picked. But just being tethered up onto the Death Prophet with a mech bottle charges can sometimes be enough to keep her alive to that initial burst, and that's usually when the turning of the tides can begin. So options here for Fantastic.Five. I'm gonna say Fantastic.Five more than once. It's Fantastic.Five, but a Sven 4th pick here for Escape.
Yeah, I mean, that Sven, he's super survivable. And speaking of survivable, Timbersaw also making it through that first round of bans and will get picked up here. Most likely going to be that mid Timber. They could run him offlane if they'd like to, but I mean, he's just so survivable mid up against that Death Prophet, and there's very few heroes that can actually win a lane against Prophet early on.
Yeah, she's pretty annoying to lane against. But between the constant spam from Crypt Swarm and the Spirit Siphon, pretty hard to stop her from doing the things that she wants to do. I mean, she doesn't really have to kill you early on to win the lane. It's still a lot of harassment, and she can pretty much farm indefinitely. So I would imagine it being kind of a break even. I think Timbersaw should be able to farm, DP should be able to farm, and it'll be more about those rotations. A lot of pressure on this Earth Spirit for Escape Gaming to get some stuff done early on.
Yeah, I mean, Earth Spirit Dazzle is a pretty awesome duo here. I think we're going to see the Dazzle babysit the Sven a little bit, so Earth Spirit kind of left to his own devices, could spend a lot of time rotating around mid, could hop into that off lane, so we'll see if he's able to secure early kills. His levels are so important. We've seen in the open qualifiers, a lot of Earth Spirits get really starved because they put so much time rotating and sitting in the bushes waiting for ganks that they're level like 3 at 7-8 minutes in, so you really got to make sure you're prioritizing at least soaking a little bit of XP.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Fantastic.Five looking for some pretty obvious team fight here. Both teams with pretty good kind of 5v5, but I think Fantastic.Five just have a slight edge. The DP ult mixed with the Disruptor ult. Pretty darn good. Kind of curious how they're going to round out this draft, what they're going to do in terms of safe lane hard carry. Escape ban out the Medusa. Interesting.
I mean, it is a hero we have seen Illidan run a couple of times, a couple patches ago, but definitely a hero that has been picked up more and more. That's kind of the signal, like, alright, we don't want to fight early, we're just going to take this one late. And Fantastic.Five, I think, can benefit from that early fight, so may want to pick something with an earlier power peak. I'm still pitching for the Tiny here. I think you've got enough control with the Beastmaster Primal Roar, with the Disruptor Kinetic Field, and the Static Storm that you can kind of get away with that Slowpoke just being dragged into the fight.
Wow. Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry. For a moment there, I thought they didn't use a 5th ban, and I saw all the reserve time. I was like, okay, this makes more sense. I think Fantastic.Five are likely to go Gyrocopter or Slark, mostly just because it's Illidan. I agree with you that I think Tiny would work really well here. And Illidan does play it sometimes, but he just really likes mobility. I think of Illidan Slark as one of those classic hero player kind of combos, which could be all right here. I think Sven matches up fairly well against him, but the Gyrocopter also, just for obvious synergy with all the AoE teamfight they have, works very well with Disruptor. Great follow-up for like a Beastmaster to hop in, Roar, initiate, and just another hero that benefits from the inner beast quite a bit. So I guess really most carries that they would pick here are going to feel some benefits from that Beastmaster.
All right, dipping into the reserve time here. They're definitely taking a choice here. They haven't really picked that hero in advance, so Fantastic.Five making some decisions here. They have to make sure they can outscale the Sven, because if you leave a Sven alone for too long, he can become a monster in that late game.
Yeah, the one thing they have going for them, though, is that they have the ability to push. You see a lot of teams that'll pick a really good mid-game fighting lineup, but they don't really have the heroes that can end the game. Timbersaw is a hero that can often get you in that trap, because he is great at killing heroes, but killing structures, not quite so much. And this is where Fantastic.Five, they win a team fight in the mid-game, they could very easily move into the Roche pit, start knocking down tier 2 towers, and Exorcism is pretty darn good against those tier 3s. So, well, they prove us wrong across the board here. They go for the Morphling.
That's pretty global there. You've got Io relocates, you also got that Replicate coming in and out, so Fantastic.Five, they're going to find farm around the map, and they can just hop for these team fights whenever they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting pick here. I honestly thought they would go for something that might come online a little bit earlier. One of the issues with Morphling is that he needs a lot. Obviously when he gets stacked, he's super hard to deal with. Once you have Lincoln's, shotgun, all that kind of stuff. But he really needs at least one item before he really starts to come online. We have seen games where the Morphling can kind of snowball out of control, and the Wisp can definitely contribute to that. Also with a Disruptor, find those kills when people normally get away. It's an interesting choice. It definitely gives them some late game potential. I'm trying to think about like Morphling versus Sven. It's kind of an odd matchup where Morphling really wants to kind of split push around, control the map, be annoying with replicates, and Sven just sort of wants to jump in and man fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sven's going to want to sit back and take this a little more passively. Morphling, all he needs is items, and all he needs is a couple early kills to really start that snowball going. But, I mean, I think it's going to be kind of 4 versus 4 and let the hard carries farm for the first 20 or so minutes. I don't think we're going to see a lot of participation from either side.
Yeah, Escape have pretty big damage. If they want to fight early, they could. Timbersaw, Earth Spirit, serious damage there. And Dazzle is good to have against the Death Prop. You get all that armor for your team against all the physical damage from the Ghosties. Escape definitely have some options, but right now I like this Fantastic.Five lineup just a little more. So they'll finish off with Slardar. Very heavy strength lineup. It's a 4 strength heroes. I think Fantastic.Five wishing they were the ones with the Timbersaw right now.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to rip through in the late game. The problem is Slardar, if he's starved at a farm, he doesn't do a whole lot. He can be punished pretty aggressively, especially up against what looks to be an IO Morphling lane, unless this is IO Death Prophet. But, you know, Fantastic.Five, they can also rotate a little bit earlier because they do have that Disruptor ready. So I'm eager to see if Fantastic.Five are going to maximize the early game potential, or if they're going to go through and kind of sit back and farm up the Morphling and have to go up against that late game Sven.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They have a couple ways they can lane this also. It could be Wisp Morphling mid with a safe lane Death Prophet, or Morphling safe lane with the mid Death Prophet and Wisp just kind of floating around, stacking up the jungle. They could definitely go that defensive, more just we're going to power farm route and get the stacks going. We'll see. I think for Fantastic.Five, they definitely need to hit a timing kind of around this. This prediction stuff, I just don't get it. Why is it there always?
You gotta make sure you're keeping up with the meta, man. Seeing who predicts, you gotta get those victory points going for you. But all right, so it will be so far Death Prophet Wisp, just BZZ, healed up by Araman, who's done a fantastic job rotating. I mean, he is just such an awesome hero. We saw him play Night Stalker earlier on, and just being able to go through and participate in all these kills, I think he had something like at least 90% kill participation in that Alliance game. So on the Wisp, he's going to
90%? Is that what you said?
Almost. It was very, very high. He was, I think, for a while there, I know he was like at least in 7 out of the 8 kills on the board.
Wow, that's actually incredible.
Yeah.
90% kill participation. That's hard to do.
Yeah, he was just all over the place. Now, that didn't hold to the late game because unfortunately he was a Night Stalker and it went to like 55 minutes, so not really able to keep that up. But
yeah, so Pasha on the Beastmaster, he'll just start off with an Iron Talon. Probably a sign that F5 will be eager to sack this off lane and make sure Pasha still finds his farm somewhere in the jungle. One of the great changes, of course, you can utilize this hard camp here. And farm pretty quickly. I don't think they'll be too worried about giving Sven free farm. You pretty much assume that's going to be the case anyway, so at least this way you can secure the Beastmaster his timely level 6. As runes come out, it looks like it'll just be 1 apiece, no early skirmish.
Yeah, everyone's sitting back now. Beastmaster, he's going to get scouted out as Era, making a very aggressive rotation, just wanting to at least get eyes on this. They will drop a nice observer here. It is pinged out by the Dire, so they know that something's there. Will they be able to deward it, or just leave it and know it's there?
Where is the other Radiant Observer? Are they hanging on to it? Oh, it looks like Earth Spirit's got it in his inventory still. Okay, interesting. You see a lot of teams, you look at these Dire wards, they've got one in the middle, no big surprise there, and then they've got one on this cute little plateau near the tier 1 in the top, probably a sign they'll want to be kind of aggressive in their safe lane.
Speaking of aggressive here, we've got Synderen getting drained down. BZZ took a roll in early, but is going to be completely fine there with that level 1 Soul Siphon.
Yeah, no doubt. But you see a lot of teams TP in and get those wards down as early as possible. It's all about a battle for the intel, seeing where the enemies have their wards down, and if you can get those counters right away, it really gives you a big edge in the laning phase. It's interesting to see Team Escape, or No Diggity as they're still in my memory, saving that early ward and actually doing like the opposite route, waiting to see how things unfold and then deciding where they need the vision.
Illidan could be in some trouble there. Levels up the Morph, so doesn't have that waveform to get out of sticky situations like this. A couple more hits, can they do it? He's Morphin strength for all he's worth. Now Yapsor taking a little bit of damage. Yol has that Thunderstrike up in 2 seconds. Can they look to turn this, or will it just be a stalemate?
Well, looks like it'll be a stalemate for now. Illidan, I think, just happy to find farm more so than anything else. Also worth pointing out, at the Dire secret shop, they did successfully counterward that. So there is only 1 Radiant ward down right now, and it's right under the feet of the Disruptor, this guy right here. So that's all they're working with.
Well, roll in. They want to get this. 2 supports. Could be a nice little meal there. RMN separated. We'll go back through with the tether. They're going to be getting out safely, and KZU taking a lot of damage off that. Still has 2 tangos to work with, but for a hero, or rather for a lane with 5 heroes in it, I'm surprised there's been no bloodshed.
A little bit of bloodshed, but I guess nothing that's turned into a kill quite yet. Wisp hanging on to the bottle. They are a little bit low on regen. These battles for the runes are actually going to become pretty significant. Yapsor trying to get the regen, and he gets it. Nice kick to stop BZZ. That's a nice victory there for Team Escape, getting both runes on the first spawn.
I don't think he pays with his life for this one. Disruptor only level 1, doesn't have the glimpse to drag him back into the fight, so YapzOr feeling completely fine with that. And Qualifier could look for something there. The roll is going to come through onto the Wisp, and a Wisp doesn't have any targets to tether to. May look for something there, asking for a buddy to bail him out. Will be able to zip up to that high ground there on the back of Disruptor. Now mid lane, looking for some more aggression, but for now Qualifier feeling very confident in this lane, sitting way ahead of Death Prophet in terms of last hits.
Yeah, out of the gate, this is looking really good for Team Escape. Mid lane, it is a 2-on-1, so you would expect the Death Prophet to be a little bit behind, but it's a big margin. Qualifier completely dominating.
Oh, speaking of dominating here, we are going to have perhaps the first blood. YapzOr is going to take it, trying to take out our men with him, but not going to be successful there, as Wisp is able to go through, bottle up, and they lose the Earth Spirit. And IO goes through, denies to neutrals. That's going to be a quick trip back to base, buying out, getting everything you want.
All right, well, there's a sign of life for Fantastic.Five, no doubt. But the other big disparity is the safe laners. Spend 20 last hits compared to the 14 of Morph lane. It's getting better for Illidan, but...
Easy, going through, has the Soul Siphon charge. May get killed off here, though. A couple more pops will do it. They have the Rolling Death in 1 second. Fairy Fire eaten up. One more bop of the Earth Spirits Club is going to take him out.
Yeah, very nice. This is one of the drawbacks of having this passive Beastmaster. Right now, he's just sitting in the jungle. He's completely on this... he's like the hard farming 4 at this point. Even though he is in the 3 position. You know what's going to happen, you know where he's going to be, and you know he's not really going to do a hell of a lot till he hits level 6. And it's good to see Escape Gaming try and put some pressure on these lanes and make something happen up top. Kezu, he's going to get glimpsed back, but a Crush, I think, will keep him safe.
Yep, very nice Crush reaction off that. He knew he was getting glimpsed, he had that button at the ready, and he's going to stay safe for now. Again, that off lane going pretty okay for him. He doesn't have any kill participation, but he's finding what he needs. He'll have Tranquil boots up and 200 gold.
Yeah. But disparity's growing here in favor of Escape Gaming. If you look at that graph, it's a pretty minor lead. The laners are doing a lot better for the Radiant, but that pesky Beastmaster is kind of throwing a wrench in the mix in terms of just overall team farm. He's still doing pretty well.
And Illidan has to make sure he's really staying on top of these last hits. As nice as it is to harass the Star Dart every turn, prioritizing the farm is going to be key for the Morphling.
Yeah, they're about to get this tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. Era doing some serious work on it. Already forced out the glyph. Pasha will rotate and just try and leech up some of this experience halfway to level 6. We'll see what he can do against this tower. Maybe he can secure the deny, and he does. Minor victory there for the Beastmaster.
He TPs into the lane for the first time this game and just takes out the tower, so at least denying a bit to the Sven, but Sven, again, with free farm, if he's not controlled in the next 5-10 minutes, he can definitely scale up to a point where Fantastic.Five don't have the resources to deal with his strength.
Yeah, the next item for Era is going to be very telling. Uh-oh, mid lane, initiation onto BZZ, but TP reaction. Now it's actually YapzOr taking some pretty serious heat the other way. That Soul Siphon is damn good.
I mean, that's Death Prophet here, not picking up that silence, pretty typical, but maximizing that Crypt Swarm, wanting to get that nuke damage. And
interesting.
Just getting that little bit of the snipe going down. The worst thing is to watch a Dazzle skirt away with like 1 HP after the Grave ends and nothing able to catch.
No, we've seen Death Prophets more commonly now. I think go for the Spirit Siphon primarily, like the 203 at level 5 rather than 302. It's a pretty minor difference. It's really just more which spell am I using more often. You get that extra charge from the Crypt Swarm or from the Spirit Siphon. So if you're constantly getting dove and using it for survivability, it's actually pretty important. But big rotation here. Beastmaster level 6. He's got the Primal Roar, and they are hungry, looking for blood.
Yeah, but I mean, their biggest target in the area right now is Qualifier on that Timber Saw, and he's already got that point in reactive armor. He's got the poor man's shield. He is a hard kill to get.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So Era, he does go for the HOD. That's the point I wanted to make before. If he goes for an armlet off of that Helm of Iron Will, generally a sign that the Sven's going to be a little more combative. You don't go armlet to passively farm, you go armlet because you want to fight and have an edge early on. Pick up the HOD basically for farming. You pick up that creep, you start stacking up the Ancients, get your farm going on, and of course that lifesteal just gives you some extra sustainability so you can, you know, A-click camps down and actually kill those stacks with the lifesteal, whereas the armlet doesn't quite open that up for you. So definitely a sign that Escape Gaming are expecting this to be a longer game, not going to close it out in the next 10 or 15 minutes or anything like that, and they are gearing up to make sure that they can outfarm this Morphling, which they are already doing quite well. 61 CS compared to the 37 on those safe lane farmers.
Yeah, I mean, Morphling hasn't even had too challenging of a lane. It's not like the Slaughter was giving him too much of a struggle.
It was a little rocky at first, but yeah, he's had some time now for sure.
He's going through again, just a couple of missed last hits are going to be very, very costly for him. Now, he's picked himself up the Trez, he's picked himself up the Wraithband, so he's not just plummeting in terms of stats, but he needs that first big item, which do you think we're going to see just the classic Lincolns, or are we shaking it up?
Good question. Likely to be Lincoln's. Against Slardar, it's always a little bit of a toss-up because it's so easy for him to break it, but some people would argue even just blocking that first amp damage is a pretty big deal in the context of a big fight that might break out. Not a huge amount of single target outside of that. Stun from Sven, poison from Dazzle. Definitely a decent Lincoln's game. Gonna be a missed rolling boulder there by Yapzor mid. No harm done.
Now the rest of the Radiant are at the ready if they want to try this again, but BZZ playing safe again does have those 2 points in Soul Siphon and very quick reactions from the Death Prophet so far. Hasn't been too squishy, hasn't been too fragile.
Yeah, but one of the reasons you get the Lincolns on Morphling isn't really just for the Lincoln's use itself, but more so the regen. I mean, the stats are also quite helpful, of course, but Morphling is pretty ass regeneration, and he's a hero that can really benefit from it. So it's a classic core item on him for a reason, and I think likely to see that into the shotgun. Shotgun first is... let me put it this way, I've only seen it in C Kappa, so at least in recent memory. It can be really good if you're balling out of control. Sometimes you see those Morphling games where he's in the safe lane and they aggro try and you're like, 4-1 and 2 at 10 minutes. Then maybe you can get away with rushing a shotgun, but in a more passive farming game like this, I think you just go for the classic stats item.
Now Timber Saw, he's got that double damage rune in the bottle. There are going to be supports sticking nearby if they want to stick around and go for a kill, but BZZ backing off, going to be dipping into the jungle. And speaking of jungling, Beastmaster, he's hopped out. He's now spending some time in lane, is picking up the components for a Necro book and should have that up pretty decently timed.
Yeah, I think Fantastic.Five maybe a little bit disappointed that Beastmaster hasn't really been able to find a rotation yet. You kind of play him similar to like you would a Clockwork in some ways. You just really want to get level 6 kind of as quickly as possible, and as soon as that happens, that's when you start moving around, showing yourself on the map and trying to put pressure on the other lanes. One of the reasons why Beastmaster is such a ridiculous hero right now is because he can farm so well. Wisp, ooh, be careful there, little buddy.
Radiant's top tower is
He's
under
alright.
RMN knows his limits. Whew.
Absolutely, and he's got those bottles. I'm gonna go with the spirits and finish off the stack.
Yeah, that's good stuff for the Wisp. Almost level 5. There you go. Getting good experience. But yeah, one of the great things about the Beastmaster is just how quickly he can farm. So, if he's left alone, he can definitely make use of that Iron Talon and keep tempo. I mean, right now he's out farming the Death Prophet mid. So, just for some context of how well he's able to do when he's left alone.
And this Death Prophet mid, she's no weak farmer herself. She's sitting 5th in the net worth chart, so hasn't been finding everything she needs, but a lot of that's just because she was killed off and hasn't found any return kills. And you pick up Death Prophet because you really want to be aggressive in lane. You want to go through and force back the enemy laner, but she's going to just have to sit back and be content with that 1 point in Exorcism, maybe grouping up and looking for a push at some point soon.
Yeah, turning into slightly more of a diverse Death Prophet build. You'll see some wait to hold Exorcism till level 9, level 10 sometimes. Even that Silence can often be delayed, but he's gone for a slightly more well-rounded build here, just 2 points in the Spirit Siphon, and then getting some value points elsewhere in the Silence and the Exorcism. Pretty quiet game on our hands here, though, Annie. We'll see the Tomes of Knowledge come out as we ding past the 10-minute mark. I would imagine we'll see the aggression step up a little bit once these key level 6s come out. Earth Spirit just a couple creeps away from Magnetize. And of course, for Fantastic.Five, it's that Disruptor with the Static Storm to go along with the Relocate, which is now online. Wisp did finally hit level 6. Fused Raindrop, Smoke, Bottle. This little energy ball is ready to start finding some kills if they present themselves.
I think the big kills in this game are going to come off the back of the big cores coming out. Sven, Morphling, they're going to duke it at 1v1 towards the late game, but we just have to wait till they get their big items, till they get their kits rolling. Now Morphling is going to go for that Lincoln's, picking up that little Perseverance, so it should be alright timed. It's not going to be super early, not going to be super late. But that'll be a nice fighting build. Again, the stats are super key. Now looking at Sven, he's not too for himself. He's picked himself up that Mask of Madness, so most likely going to go back in for the Helm.
Okay, so he went Helm of the Dominator, broke it, and went into Armlet. Now it's just hanging on to the Casual Morbid Mask. This is an interesting build. They do have one stack of Ancients up for him. I wonder if he goes back for the HOD or what. Up top, Morphling finishes off the tower, dives in, Synderin gets a decent grave off on himself. This is going to be enough.
I mean, they're committing everything for this. They pop the Exorcism underneath. They will get the glimpse back here. Dazzle, fresh out of luck there. No grave to save him. Wave more man from the Morphling will secure another kill. They pop out the Magnetize on the Earth Spirit, but it's not going to be enough to kill off anyone here. RMN getting kind of low, but with the tether flying through, they're going to be all right. Now, can they get any blood off the back of this?
They're going to fake back. They smoke. They're going to go right back in onto the Death Prophet. She's got the ult online for about another third duration. They relocate out. I thought Fantastic.Five were going to fight that for sure, and they might still. TP's coming in. And now it's Escape that are going to live up to their name and just try to get the hell out of here.
They don't want to lose anything there. The God Strength on Sven wasn't popped, so they still have that extra fighting bit of potential. They can go into this Ancient stack if they'd like, but now the Dire, well, they're still in this here. They still got the Beastmaster Roar. He didn't actually pop it there. They will get the glimpse back into the kinetic field, and there's the Roar coming out. Yapzor, not exactly the best target in the world, but everything's something here. Little bits of damage like that, little bits of kills will put them further ahead.
Yeah, great silence from the Death Prophet as well. They pull him back. Silence him right away, no chance to rolling boulder out, and here we go. This is where the aggression gets cranked up. Fantastic.Five ready to start the 5-man. Morphling with his Perseverance, his Bring It Back Willa. He's all tricked out on his little phalanges.
Coming in, they will go in one-man Stormhammer. The nice kinetic field holding him in place. Pasha gonna be picked up there, so a lot of damage coming on to Illidan. He's Morphin Strength for all he's worth. He's got one waveform, but they have the crush. They can lock him down. Jasmine goes through, gets the kill onto that. Now roll in. Nice connect there. Yapzor very well timed. Now BZZ second place. Nothing can save you there, Death Prophet. Living up to your name there with the lone survivor just kind of scooting back onto base. Sitting back and watching the rest of his team burn down. That was a big turnaround there from Escape. It seemed like F5 was way overcommitted. They kept faking back and didn't realize it actually needs to go home.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a pretty big deal. They're going to lose this tier 1 tower now in the mid lane. It was over a 2k net worth trade. And that lead that Fantastic.Five set up for themselves now gone completely by the wayside as Escape pull into the lead in both gold and experience. There really wasn't much to it other than, like you said, Fantastic.Five just way overcommitted. You know, in that position, they were sort of acting like they had Exorcism, but obviously they didn't. They just used it in that fight prior up top, and that's one of their big damage dealing spells. Without that, also without the Disruptor level 6, you just can't be that aggressive. I think not respecting Escape Gaming, thinking they could just walk up to that tower, take it down for free, and Escape would be too focused on split farming rather than fighting. But they call the bluff, they win the fight, and the rewards are pretty huge. Lardar now just about to have his Blink Dagger. He's actually got it secured. Koifa making some progress towards his Bloodstone. The tower did fall though, and Beastmaster got credit for it, so it is one very minor victory for Fantastic.Five there. Obviously pales in comparison to trading, what was that, a 1 for 4? 4 for 0?
4 for 0, man.
4 for 0, there you go. So tower for 0, or Jesus, tower for 4, not quite worth it, but at least they got something. And now they're going to get this tier 1 down bottom, so a lost fight, but now they do open up the map. This whole area here is kind of fair game where they can just venture in and start clearing out some of these neutral camps and just pressure the spots where Sven wants to farm.
Yeah, but speaking of Sven's farm, he did take a double stack of Ancients a minute or two ago and now has a Blink Dagger at the ready, so his initiation potential just jumped up 1,000%.
Okay.
Now, speaking of initiation, we got a Smoke here in the mid lane.
And Smoke also in the Radiant Jungle. Fantastic.Five gonna walk right into him. They have an Exorcism this time though. Oh boy.
Pasha just booking it out of there. It looks like he wants to go for the roar, but no, there's nothing else. The relocate comes in. There is going to be a nice silence, though. Yapzor with the predictions coming in. Wiz is going to get chunked down there. You're not going home there. Pasha just getting smacked out. Yapzor may be the ultimate price for this wave form coming back on through. Now Starter sitting there. Koifa throwing out those chakrams, teeping up to the high ground, and he's looking for something here. Oh, one hit, one crit, and that's a triple kill. They're looking for more here. Illidan gonna get chunked down as well. The lone survivor, once again, the Death Prophet, the only one to get out of this, and that's a free Roche now going the way of Escape.
Well, always a little bit dicey when both teams are smoked up like that. It was Escape definitely not expecting Fantastic.Five to be in their territory the way that they were, but they just took that fight so strange. The smoke got broken for Fantastic.Five. They were at a disadvantage, and they relocated forward and basically suicided their Wisp to start off the fight. I'm not even sure if that relocate was necessary. I think they could have just gone charging in and tried to make it happen. I mean, aside from the Morphling, who can, on paper at least, waveform away in that scenario, Beastmaster's about the ideal target to get initiated on like that. He's the tankiest, and he has a Necro Book. So as long as he gets the Necro Book off, if they kill him, he still has some units that he can control from the grave. Relatively speaking, that's not the worst way for that fight to start for Fantastic.Five, and it seems like they kind of overreacted, panicked a little bit, and in the end they botched it, and now Escape. I have a pretty comfortable lead, 3k net worth, 7,500 experience. They should be feeling pretty comfortable right about now.
Yeah, I mean, the strangest part of that fight for me was just Pasha revealing the smoke and then just trying to run away to the pit. Now he's going to go in. There's going to relocate King. This is the fight they wanted. Keizu will get picked up. There he's slithering, but will not be successful. Beastmaster finally getting the kill. He popped the Necro Books for that, and they're going to be looking for more, at least pushing out the lane a little bit. Yeah,
pretty easy pick off there, but that's exactly what you want to do with the relocates. Those kind of pickoffs will definitely add up over time, and you can see right away Fantastic.Five say, all right, we've got a 4v5 advantage. Let's start pressuring towers.
Illidan going to get stunned up here. He's locked in place for now. He's morphing strength. damage. Can they catch him out? He's got one waveform in 2 seconds. Will it be enough there? Adaptive Strike not quite holding Era. There will be that waveform out now. Yapzor, he's going to go through. He has one roll. Can he get it off? The war cry from the Sven coming in. They bring in Sven. He's blinking back. Static Storm not going to connect there. They bring in the kinetic field, and it will hold back the Sven for now. He has to sit back as the BKB is not quite online.
Yeah. And interesting build from Era. He's actually gone for Mask of Madness on Sven.
Oh, back, holding him through so they don't have the raw damage at the Timber Sub, but still they got that hold in place. Yapzor once again, Stormhammer coming in, the Sven helping out his Earth Spirit now, picking up his second kill of the game.
I'm just trying to make sense of this Mask of Madness.
Oh, down bottom. You don't have time to make sense of it. It's all happening so fast. Kaiser going through, still sitting there, waiting on the crush, coming back on in. Era getting his life drained, but it's not going to be enough to stop the Sven. He's got such a fraction of health there, but the armlet keeping him healthy. Now Kaiser going back on in. There will be that Yule's up from the Death Prophet buying himself some time, but Era not looking to push any mercy. There will be that Aegis popped, immediate Crypt Storm from the Death Prophet, so he's going to come back with full health, full mana, crush off the mark, and Death Prophet will get out safely. Meanwhile, this tower going to be gonzo. Yeah,
not the best use of the Aegis, but overall, Escape completely out-executed there. I think the idea from Fantastic.Five is well advised. You get a pick off and then immediately start putting pressure on objectives. They tried to split push Shaba or hold that thought, relocate right onto Yapzor, but what a great setup. Magnetize already doing big damage. Illidan trying to chase down Syndra, and on the other side, it's just a great delta split from Escape. They're going to go different ways and try and TP home. Earth Spirit not going to be able to make it, as he does get interrupted. His infused raindrops here trying to help him out. They will get the kill on Dazzle off to the side. Play a little ring around the rosy. I think Yapzor is definitely done for.
Glimpse attack just to make sure they hold him on the high ground, but his corpse is the only thing going back on through. They will bring in a couple heroes here. Nice Static Storm from the Disruptor will catch out Qualifier, meaning he can't go in, he can't Timber Chain and just be a nuisance in general, but they may still look to continue this as they blink in the Sven once again. He's ripping apart that Disruptor. Man, no mercy coming out of him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, they get a pick off, you go for split pushing, and that's the right idea. You want to try to split up the map, you know, find farm in different lanes, but they fail at pushing both towers. The tier 2 down bottom is sitting at 6 HP right now, so they couldn't finish it off, just hovering in deny range. They get completely rejected. Then on top of that, they lose somebody up top, they lose somebody down bottom, so Escape, yeah, sure, they lost somebody, one of their supports in a little pickoff, but they ended up getting way more because Fantastic.Five got a bit too cocky, and then to follow that up, it's just another one of these kind of sloppy engagements. They're getting these small little pickoffs here and there, like, okay, yes, you caught the Earth Spirit, but I think Yapzor is pretty okay with dying if it means it sets up for them to be in a more aggressive position where the Sven can just blink in and get these cleanup kills. Look at that net worth chart. Their two big cores are #1, and that snowball is just cruising downhill.
Earth Spirit staying hydrated, has 2 raindrops left at 1 charges, so he's going to have to prioritize item slots at some point.
Yeah, you can actually use the double raindrops, though. They work appropriately in the sense that you don't lose a charge on each when you take damage. They do actually stack. So, maximizing on his mana regen right now, I guess that's kind of nice.
Yeah, and let's talk about big items coming out as Sven. He's sitting there. You talked about his little Mask of Madness ad nauseum, but now we do have a BKB coming out, which I think is just the key item. That's where you're going to rip the band-aid off and go for those high ground pushes.
Yeah, I mean, they still got some tier 2 towers to chew through before they get to the high ground, but you're definitely right. BKB, those first couple charges in particular, are going to be pretty telling. I think for Era, it's going to be pop the BKB and just kill the Death Prophet. That's basically what it comes down to. She's gone for the Veil of Discord now. We've seen this a couple times. Obviously, doesn't synergize with the ultimate, but does synergize a lot with the Crypt Swarm and the rest of her team. Morphling doing a lot of magical damage, Disruptor. Even the Beastmaster does quite a bit of magical damage just with those Necros and all that good stuff. So, not the craziest build. I'm not the biggest fan of the Veil on DP, but it's all the rage these days. The kids are doing it.
Well, they must be right now. Group up from the Radiant Heroes. We do see Pasha here in this bottom lane. Maybe wanted to initiate on him. He does have that Roar at the ready. Necro 3s as well. He's now saving up for Blink Dagger, but he's going to TP home as the Radiant. They're looking for more here. They're going deep. They're not going to be content going for that puny little Beastmaster. Smoke Pop, BZZ will be revealed, and that's a thrust there. No time to react. Just plummeted down.
Oh.
Man, that was 5-on-1. They are just brutalizing her.
Yeah, that is insane, though. I mean, it's 5-on-1, sure, but just how quickly she died there.
Getting 4 stacks in and out of the damage there. The Blink Crush from Kaizu completely on point.
Escape are just taking over at this point. I mean, this is where the Mask of Madness Sven is really good. You have all of these other heroes that are going in front lines. You've got Slardar who can Blink Crush initiate. You've got this Earth Spirit who can jump in. And you've got a Dazzle to you know, he's got your back. you can get away with the Mask of Madness. It's really incredible when you're not the one, when the onus isn't on you to be the lone initiator. It's really an incredible item because it ups your damage so much, and there's other people that are taking the brunt of the damage. They're just going to go high ground here. F5 made the mistake to use their glyph early, and now this tier 3 is just going to fall to rubble. Absolutely no defense. By the time their TP is complete, the tower's already dead, and Escape will be happy to not only get the tower, but also force them back to the base. Multifaceted value here for this Radiant squad.
Timbersaw going right back to farming here, sitting at a big chunk of gold here. Does he go for a Blink Dagger, or a Hex, or a Yules, or an Octarine? He's got some options.
There's the Blink, yeah. Well, Qualifier favoring mobility. I guess not a big surprise. One of those players that just really likes mobility tools in general. Really good on the Timber this game. For the reason we were just talking about. The Mask of Madness, you need other heroes to kind of be the frontliners and peel for the Sven. So with a Blink Timbersaw, a Blink Slardar, they should certainly have that.
Yeah, you look at the Sven's role here, and sometimes there are teams that kind of prioritize Sven as the initiator and the damage and the raid boss, but, you know, the Slardar, he's the one going in for those blink crushes and starting the fight. The Timbersaw, he's the one sustaining and going and zipping on through and being that damage sponge, so Sven's only job is to go in and rip people apart, and so far, a lot of success.
Love this item choice from Cinder in here. Arcane Boots right into the Vladimir's offering. You don't see this build on Dazzle all that often, but it's just incredible this game. Having that extra armor to go up against the DP, fabulous to mitigate damage from the Exorcism, and just giving the Sven extra lifesteal, also incredible. Stacks with the Mask of Madness makes him so much more survivable. Just an all-around really smart item choice here that works well with the style they're playing. There's been a lot of grouping up, a lot of 5-manning in the last 5 to 10 minutes, so, you know, aura-based items. Good stuff.
Absolutely. Now Timbersaw with another 1,000 gold zipping up here. They could look for something. They got that blink. They got that force on Slardar. And, well, it's gonna be on cooldown. The crush. They got that illusion, man.
Yeah.
It's down.
Always hard to tell with the Morphling, those pesky replicates, but I mean, you're always hoping for a hero there, but being able to just kill the replicate that easily, you know, you see right away Fantastic.Five just kind of back up, afraid to farm in their own jungle, really. A great ward on the plateau from the Radiant that they plop down on the way in. If you look at their vision, they've got some pretty good intel. You see Kezu just running laps around this hard camp, making sure Fantastic.Five are nervous as they move into their own territory.
Absolutely. I mean, the one exception we have is Yol, who's just way deep, putting out some dire vision, perhaps a little bit too aggressively.
Wow.
I'm not quite sure.
Look at all of these dire wards. They've got like all of the most aggressive plateaus covered, and this top lane. That's really peculiar given that they're so tunneled right now. Oh, Kezu actually misses a stun, but not really sure what value that vision is going to be providing while they're defending their high ground.
I think just making sure they know when Escape are backing off, when they're farming up, and then you can send your Morphling into the jungle, just making sure he's not going to get ganked. So we'll see what's happening there.
Yeah, that part is true. I guess you're right. If you have eyes on them farming defensively, the problem though is that Escape aren't farming defensively at all. They're like invading the enemy jungle. They are so thirsty for a fight right now. I mean, they haven't walked in. Like, just look at how defensive this corner of the map is for Escape. They don't really have any incentive to be there, I guess, unless they're killing Ancients.
Yeah, I mean, for now, it's just going to be Era farming up, feeling no pressure, but they can back off, they can wait for Roche, which will be up in a minute, and that's going to be a nice jump point. If they can get a nice Aegis on the side of Escape, then there's no reason they can't just barrel onto high ground right now.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that, and they are privy to this timing. Going to be about a minute close to the max respawn timer, so not ideal for Escape. A little bit of RNG going in favor of Fantastic.Five. Also, a Blink Dagger been picked up by Pasha on the Beastmaster, so they do have a little bit more initiation prowess. At least he can jump in now and get a stun to start things off.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And it looks like the Radiant, they're just going in, strangling up like a snake, just wrapping around this entire corner of the jungle. And you see how defensive the Beastmaster is. Beastmaster's their big initiator. He's got Necro 3s, he's got his Primal Roar, he's got that Blink, but just has to go back up to his own high ground, sitting in this fountain.
Yeah, I mean, well, they do get one of the wards, it looks like. They've got a lot of good sentry coverage. They will clear out the plateau. That is deep in the jungle over here, but Escape have already warded up the plateau down here at this bottom tier 2. They'll get a free Hawk kill. Yeah, this is Fantastic.Five just doing anything they can to dodge a fight and desperately farm up. They will get the E-Blade out on Morphling though, so the shotgun is kind of online. That is good news, but is it going to be enough?
I mean, the Morphling's net worth compared to the Sven's is not fantastic. Again, you can't really tap a Morphling out because of the replicate. Can farm multiple plays at once. Always has that escape tool. But for now, Timbersaw actually picking up the Aegis. Sven didn't want to drop any goodies.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the issues with the Morphling pick, right? You know what his power curve is, and you have a good idea of when he's going to come online. We're now 27 minutes in. This is about the time where you're like, okay, Illidan is ready to fight. He's also at 3-2-2 right now in KDA. That's kind of cute. But the Sven is a little more versatile on that front. Of course, he's...
Deep dive there from the starter. I don't think he gets out of this one. Just going to get blasted down. Beastmaster's buddies take him apart, and that's going to be at least some sort of makeup from F5. They do bring in the Disruptor now. Getting a nice silent Cinder and actually in some trouble. Can he get the Grave off? Nice. He will save himself. And it looks like F5, they're looking for more. Can they cancel the TP? No. So they get the Slaughter, they get the Dazzle very, very low, but not able to really finish the job. Now Era going in, blasting apart BZZ. Oh man, that looks like it really, really hurt.
Yeah, it's just insane how much burst damage he can do with God's Strength, Mask of Madness, and now with the Hyperstone. He attacks super fast, and with the armlet toggled on, of course. He will go into Assault Cuirass, another great item to have against the DP, needless to say. And really not a bad little trade there. I mean, that is a 10-second BKB charge from Era, so that part of it, I guess, less than ideal, but overall, I think they're happy anytime that DP's in the grave.
10,000 experience, over 12,000 net worth now from Escape. Is this winnable for F5? I mean, there's a reason they're not tapping out. Are they waiting on the Morphling? Are they waiting on their team fight? What's going on?
Winnable, absolutely. Will they win it? Probably not.
Oh, shotgun Yapzor. It's only a support, but at least it's something here. Can he get away from this? That'd be silly. And now he will go through. He will finally get killed off, but it takes the Disruptor and the Morphling just to kill off the position 4.
Yeah, I think that right there kind of speaks to how difficult this game is for F5, because the Earth Spirit is definitely one of the easier heroes to kill at this stage of the game. He did just pick up that Hooded Defiance, so he'll actually be super survivable now relative to where he just was, but it's going to be hard for this Morphling to really find pickoffs with that shotgun. Sure, if he catches the Dazzle, relatively low HP hero, 1,000 even, probably find a kill, but Escape is not making it easy, and I think just the raw right clicks are going to make this really difficult. The Morphling's just not going to be able to stand up against it. He's going to go BKB next item. And this is one of these crummy situations for Illidan where you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. You need the BKB because there are just simply too many stuns and disables on this team, right? Just the Sven and Slardar alone are really making his life difficult in these team fights. But turning into a pretty defensive item build. Lincoln's Ethereal Blade into BKB. Having 2/3 more defensive items, not really the dream.
So Radiant, they use the scan here on this little cliff, and they will scout out that there's a dire rotation, so they can play safe, they can group up. Sven's just going to go through and clear out that ancient stack if he wants to. Not even taking those golems, doesn't even need it.
Yeah. I think in most cases, like a Morphling in this kind of situation would much rather be working on a Manta style, BOTs, Scotty, those kind of items that allow him to actually turn into like a right clicker and carry this game. The longer this goes on, I think the more advantage there is for Escape. The Sven gets bigger, the Slardar gets bigger, even the Timbersaw gets bigger. He's pretty close to a Shiva's Guard. He's actually got enough gold for it if that's what he wants.
Yeah, up top we do have that pressure coming out from Qualifier. He may have to be a little bit cautious, but will end up blinking away. And that's going to be just back to base, full health, full mana. And the rest of the Radiant, they're just like, alright, when can we fight? We want to go. They really want to get this started, but they know they can't just go full YOLO, because they can get punished still.
Yeah. Though, with the Aegis on Timbersaw, they may be playing this just a little too defensively. I think at this point they're waiting for key items, and I would imagine it's the Assault Cuirass on Sven and the BKB on Slardar. Once both of those items come out and they have Aegis, there's really no reason why they shouldn't crank up the aggression a little bit and try to go for the high ground. Slardar, 400 gold away, just about, and there's the AC, so it shouldn't be too much longer before they feel pretty comfortable doing something aggressive. Even the Timbersaw is up to 3,000 gold already, though only a minute left on the Aegis. They might have to let this one expire.
Yeah, he's still sitting on that Bloodstone, but again, the Shiva's Guard completed. That's going to be a lot of teamfight presence. They haven't gotten any blood in a long time, though. They've got to just be itching, just ready to go, ready to jump at anything they see. We'll see if F5 are able to capitalize on them being perhaps just a little too trigger-happy, or if Escape are going to play this clean. And with a smoke, it looks like they're going in there.
Oh, man.
So
they're baiting it with the Koikster. Beautifully done. They obliterate Illidan and just they take him out of the fight. I mean, that's it. He has that buyback. That's like a game-winning play right there.
Yeah, I mean, the Morphling's such a huge component of your damage. What's left? The Death Prophet? She's going to be sitting back. She's scared. She knows she got one Exorcism left. And if they kill her with the Exorcism up, that's just absolutely huge. This God Strength from the Sven coming in. Now Death Prophet does come in. Quakefa, again, just frontlining. Not going to be too scared of that silence. His Aegis is going to be consumed right now. And now there's the shout. They do get that Force Staff out, but he's still going to be sitting in the Static Storm. Can they get him down here? There's going to be a glimpse back in. He's got the Shallow Gravestone. Nice reinitiation stage. They're going on to BZZ. He's getting low. He will go down. They've got the buyback on the Death Prophet. They need the immediate buyback coming on through. And now it's just going to be the rest of the Dire Heroes looking to defend these racks. But no one on Escape really too scared.
No, this is bad news for Fantastic.Five. Wisp taking a lot of damage, won't be able to make it out. Even though DP buys back here, she doesn't have an ultimate, so her utility pretty low. Era with a BKB on just comes swinging that sword in, and BZZ once more will get that first-class ticket back to the grave. Now Pasha initiated on, dove past the barracks. Instant buyback from him as well, but without a Primal Roar, only so much he brings to the table as well. This is a guaranteed top lane of barracks. They've got the range. The melee soon to be turned to rubble. And I think Escape will just make it out of here at this point. No need to press their luck. Now that the Morphling is back up, they do need to be a little bit careful.
They glimpse back Era, but that's only bringing the problem closer to the shotgun. May finish him off. He's forced back down to the low ground. Illidan can't find anything of this. The Wild Axe is not doing enough. Pasha is forced to sit back, roll out. So Escape, they go in, they play greedy, and they don't even lose any heroes. In fact, they're sitting on all their ultimates. So
let's just kind of recap what just happened there. Cinderin's probably going to get left behind. He's already used his TP, so that will be a kill. It's a dieback on the Death Prophet. And on top of that, they burn another buyback on the Beastmaster. Pretty much all F5 get out of that is a Dazzle kill. And they also lost their top lane of Barracks. That is pretty darn devastating. The teamfight recap can't even handle how devastating that was.
Yeah, looking at overall net worth, now tipping over 22,000. That's getting towards unwinnable territory. XP, not quite as severe, but definitely still something to keep your eye on. Disruptor hasn't even found that level 2 Static Storm. We saw how important the Static Storm was in terms of Dire's damage, but it's measly at that point.
Yeah. BKB up on Sladar. That'll be 10 seconds of match immunity for Kezu. But you know, we saw in that last engagement how quickly the Morphling died. And that's one of the issues with this BKB and why it's not the end-all be-all. Because he can still get initiated on and killed before the BKB would even matter. In that last fight, BKB really wouldn't have made a difference even if he had it completed. And if Escape are able to do that again, they're in pretty good shape. And now you look at the flip side. How do you kill this damn Sven? 3,600 hit points right now. And he's got, just a casual 37 armor before Warcry.
You know, just little things like that.
I mean, I don't think that shotgun's going to be doing much.
It's just like hitting onto a brick wall. He's completely fine, and you know, he brings just so much damage to the party. He's already sitting on 1,000 gold on top of that. Now he doesn't have buyback, so if for some reason they manage to bring him down, that's going to be a long time without your main damage dealer, and they're going to have to be careful. But for now, Escape, they're looking to get aggressive here. Nice Blink Crush is going to catch out Illidan. They can't afford to lose him here. He's going to get tethered on.
Nice BKB, bro! Stick item! Literally useless. Like he went all in on the BKB and couldn't even use it.
Sven hits down that rack in like 3 hits now. Era getting drained on the full duration Soul Siphon doesn't even tickle. Godlike streak from Era. He's gonna go through triple kill coming out. Disruptor, the lone survivor, the GG.
This game's over, dude.
Out.
Oh my god.
35 minutes in, and that is the danger of a free farming Sven, man.
Well, Era played this game very well. 11-0 and 8. A couple of heroes on the side of Escape that didn't even die once that game, but the way he itemized was pretty cool. You know, you don't see that like early HOD into Armlet and then back into Mask of Madness. That's definitely a change of pace, at least from the Svens that I've been seeing. Not an every game kind of build, but just a perfect example of Era's ability to kind of read the game, know what he can get away with, and those item choices really let him get that snowball going. Honestly, for me, this was just an out execution for Escape. They had superior movements.